Hello, and my name is Jeffrey, and I'm back with you today. We're going to kick off a series of videos, and before I go into that, however, I do want to talk a little bit about where we are in the economy and why we're there, and maybe that will help to kind of solidify an understanding about where ONPASSIVE is going to bring you as far as the future is concerned. So everybody knows that we're facing challenges, right? I mean, look around, right? Watch the news, check out the headlines on, online, in print, whatever. Heck, in some cases, all you got to do is just go look out your window to see that chaos is the order of the day. I do want to talk a little bit about this before we get into the paradigm shift that is ONPASSIVE, however. And I want you to know that chaos that we live in is a result of not living a sustainable model. This means that we have to change the way that we are living on this planet, because our behavior, human behavior in particular, is the source of the problem that we're facing. Our behavior brings crisis. Crisis results in chaos, and both crisis and chaos hasten evolution. So that's kind of where we're at and where we're going with this. Now, I wouldn't say that we're in a state of failure right now. I mean, the economy's good, and there's things happening, obviously, but we're certainly exhibiting crisis because we've built a civilization that was done on bad information, so to speak. But it's changing. And when I talk about building a civilization on bad information, I'm talking about our beliefs and our belief systems in particular. So specifically, those that are based on bad information. I'm talking about things like our biology is the belief that is based on Newtonian physics, and the belief that our genes are controlling that biology. The competitive nature of life as stipulated by, well, at least in part by Darwin's survival of the fittest theory, and also the first step in evolution that says it comes from random alterations, mutations, kind of, in our genetics, and then passed on, through procreation or our offspring. But these are all wrong, and this problem became very apparent with the birth of the new science of quantum physics back in 1925. More recently as well, we came with a new science of epigenetics, which simply means control of the genes above our genetics. So anyway, these new sciences recognize that cooperation drives evolution, and it's all based on working together, right? Working in harmony, working with each other so that we can create a mutually beneficial future. How we adapt to these understandings will determine that future. Now, Einstein said it pretty clearly when he said you can't solve the same problems using the same thinking that created the problem to start with. So, probably the most important thing we need to take from this is that there's a lot more to humanity than just the physical expression, right? There's more to us than just our bodies and what we call this place we live in, reality. There's also a spiritual component that's founded in the hard science of quantum physics. So look around the world. It looks a little bit crazy, right? And I promise everybody, I'll tie this in here pretty quick. I got a little off track, but it looks like we're going through a lot of random changes. But the changes that you're seeing, especially in the economy here, they're not random. It's disorder. It's chaos. And believe it or not, chaos is not random. It's actually, a state of control, though it's generally unseen control. We don't recognize it as such, because we're not looking at it close enough, or we're not looking for the right patterns. So the planet, and particularly the world economics, seem to be in a state of chaos. And it looks as though things are falling apart, like they're collapsing, like they're losing their structure. It may appear random, but it's not. Okay, there's a method to the madness, believe it or not. These changes are being made so that we can actually start living in harmony with the environment. But to do that, we've got to break the old system down, and we've got to create a new one. So we can think of it like this. All the systems that we know about, they all have structure, right? But what happens between old structure and new structure? Chaos. Chaos happens in the middle of that process, during which one system is breaking down and a new one is forming. Okay, more structure is forming. Chaos happens when the structure of one system is being taken apart and the structure of another system is being put in place. As an example, think about the caterpillar. Okay, in preparation for inevitable change, the caterpillar is going to eat up a whole lot of leaves on a plant. Okay, its appetite's voracious and it can even damage and kill the plant. However, it then goes into what we call a pupa or a chrysalis. And that's the beginning of the transformation from caterpillar to butterfly that we call metamorphosis. And we can probably all agree that a caterpillar has structure and a butterfly has structure. But if we cut the pupa open, we see what appears to be, I don't know, gook, something. But this gook is actually it's a mass of cells. It's like a paste or something that appear random. It appears like there's no order at all. But in actuality, some of these cells are breaking down the old caterpillar structure, and some of the cells are building up the new butterfly structure. In our example, the pupa is chaos and represents where our economies are today. It may look like a mess, but it's really not. So when you look out the window and you see the chaos in the world, you read the news or you see things that are seemingly collapsing all over the place, it's not a bad sign. We are simply seeing the chaos, and it means that we're in the process of creating a new sustainable economy. And this is where ONPASSIVE makes its debut. As we get into this series, I hope to show you some pretty great things that I've realized since I started this adventure about a year and a half ago. But I want you to know two important things about the timing of your entry into ONPASSIVE. Being a founder, number one, and joining now, number two. I'm not going to labor the point except to say that as a founder, you have teams built for you that exponentially increases your income. And getting in now allows your teams to start getting built because the massive campaigns of the company are just about ready to start. So, if you've gotten an invitation from someone, please join using their link. If you believe that you've got the character required to be a founder and you're here looking for an invitation, then please click the link below. I would count it an honor to have you join with me. The first video in a series is going to be about how we got started. We'll talk about our vision, we'll talk about our CEO, and we will also talk about the GoFounders platform. I thank you, and I look forward to this series with you, while wishing blessings and blessings upon you and yours.